Hello, hello, hello. Hello, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. How y'all doing today? My Exhale Breathe family and friends and all the good people that is supporting me, watching me, sharing my messages, um, and walking with me on my healing journey. I hope y'all having a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Um, I'm just hanging around the house today. I didn't have much to do. So I just been chilling. Don't get to do that much. But yeah, today is one of those days. Um, but anyways, let's get into it. A small recap from last Sunday. Um, I talked about you know, being um in a relationship, pregnant with my first daughter, um, going through unnecessary trauma. Um, I also talked about, being judgmental, how people love to be, judge people and they never been in a situation or um, never experienced the situation and always having something to say and to be mindful of judging people. Um, and then talked about my ex husband getting sick, and that's where I left off. And so that's where I will be picking up. So, um, yeah, he ended up getting sick. So he was sick, and we did it for a while. Like, what was going on. He had been to different doctors, hospitals. No one was able to figure out what was actually wrong with him. They was telling us he had the flu or or pneumonia, and come to find out he didn't have neither of those things. But it was really bad by the time that we did get him to Parkland and found out what was actually wrong. And we found out that his heart was failing. And that was a lot. At this time, I was 18, going on 19. Um, no, I was 19. And of course, he was my guy. He was my dude. So I was there every step of the way. I learned how to take care of him. Um, at 19, um, learning and finding out that the person that you love, you have your first child by, um, was deadly sick. Um, does something to you. And like I ended the last video, you would think that would have been my out, my way of getting out. And of course, I did think about it several times, you know what I mean? Like, dang, I can go now. He won't be able to stop me or whatever. But where was I gonna go? Because again, I was isolated from my family. I didn't really have anybody but my grandmother, and I just didn't want to burden her more than I had already did. And so now he's sick. And so I felt like, oh, it's my duty to take care of him. He's my man, my man, my man, my man, type of type of situation. Um and so we found out that he was really, really, really sick. And he was in the hospital for about 3 months on intense antibiotics, and then they was gonna send him to outpatient. And I was just like, no, maybe y'all can teach me how to give him antibiotics, and maybe I can do it at home. And of course, they was like, "Are you sure?" And I was just like, "Yeah, if y'all would teach me, I would learn and I would do it." And so they did. They gave me, they trained me for 2 weeks how to clean the area where I was given the antibiotics, how to admit, give him, it was IV. So they taught me all the things to do, which um, is how I became a medical assistant. Honestly, when when it all bore down. But anyway, so I learned how to take care of him. And he was so mean. Oh my God. It's like, and I still don't understand this. Even to this day, I don't understand how people can be so nasty and mean and ugly to the only person or people that's willing to even deal with them in that state. But people are like that, and he was one of those. Oh my God. I know he snatched the IV out at least 3 to 5 times during the course of therapy, where he had to go back to the hospital so they can put it back in. And they was trying to get his heart healthy enough to operate. Um, and so um, they finally was able to. It was bad, y'all. like, like he's really, really blessed. He is so blessed. He don't even understand how blessed he is to me. Like the things that he do, the way he is, you would think that he will be more humble and more kinder to. He ain't like a he's not unkind, but he can be better. I'll just say that. And but you would think that the grace, the mercy, the healing God has bestowed upon him, that he would be better. But yeah. So anyways, back to the story. Um we finally got him healthy enough to do surgery. They did his first surgery. They had to replace 3 valves in his heart, and we only have 4. That's how bad it was. But I took care of him. I was there. I learned, and I took care of him with our daughter. Um, Again, that wasn't enough for him. And some people, it doesn't matter what you do for them. It doesn't matter how you show up for them, how you take care of them, how loyal you are. None of those things, it would never matter to certain type of people that just don't care. Um, but I stayed, I was there. Um, my my great aunt, she's passed on now, but she was our family pastor, but she was after my great grandmother. She was the matriarch. And you talking about somebody can pray? Baby, that that woman there can pray. And she used to pray. She used to pray. God will always, and that's something that I had to I've learned over time, that God always have somebody in the wing, somebody that can pray you through, somebody that will can get his attention when you feel like you can't. And at that point in time in my life, I didn't feel like God was listening, hearing, curd, nothing, because I just didn't understand. You won't let me lead a man, but you let a man get sick. The man's sick, he's still mean and ugly. I had, like, I just went through all these different emotions and feelings, but my auntie prayed, and she prayed. And of course, after the surgery and stuff, he was okay for, I don't even know how long, but he was all right for a few months. I give it a few months. And then um things seem to be getting better, but then life in the streets, he couldn't stay away from it. And he went back out there. His attitude went back to what it was. And now I'm 20. And I found out I'm pregnant again with our second daughter. Um, Pregnant again. We had moved to Seagoville. And again, like I said, for someone to be done had open heart surgery, for the person that was there when no one else was there, stood by, took care of him, all the things, he still treated me bad. He still wanted to fight. He still wanted to argue. And I'm just like, man, you, like, honestly, in my head, like I've said before, I always had a mouth. Like, I don't care. You gonna be going upside my head, and if I want to say something, I'm gonna still be saying it, because I'm gonna say what I want to say, whatever. And so that's how it was. But in my mind at this particular time, I didn't say it, but I was thinking it like, you can't whoop me right now, right? Like, in my brain, I'm thinking, you can't whoop me right now, right? Like, I'm gonna hurt you so bad. Like, you might want to chill out. Like, but since it was in my brain, he didn't hear it. Let me tell y'all something. Me being able to laugh about this right now is growth for me. Cause this ain't never been funny. And it ain't funny now, but when I think, like I said, when I play back things, it's just like, wow, wow, you know? Um, but yeah, so it was in my brain and it hadn't came out of my mouth. So he was still trying, he wanted to fight. And we wrestled. Because he wanted to fight. And I'm like, you really, like, he really wasn't in no position to fight. And so we wrestled, right? We wrestled so hard till he passed out. Passed out. Now I am scared to death that I didn't wrestle him too hard and he had a heart attack or something. He's gone. So his brother, one of his brothers lived near us. So I'm calling, I need your help. Your brother done passed out. Come help. He comes. Get him off the floor. We realize, okay, he's still here with us and stuff. And he wake up, you trying to kill me? And I'm just like, this is your doing. Like, you are trying to fight. Like, sit down somewhere. You cannot whoop me right now. Finally get to say it out my mouth. I'm like, you're not in a position to fight. Like, so anyways, and mind you, I was pregnant too. And I'm wrestling with him. Pregnant, wrestling with a person that not long had heart surgery. What a combination. Okay. But he was still so mean. He kept telling me, you pregnant again and nobody wants you. And I was just like, and I believed it. Honestly, what else was I gonna believe? Like, I was so accustomed, right, to being treated like I didn't matter and wasn't wanted and wasn't gonna be cared for. So him telling me that made sense to me at the time. I felt like he was the best I can do. And that I had 2 kids with him. No one wanted me. And I was this broken girl that just was so damaged that only he wanted me and he didn't even want me. He just wanted somebody he can control. And so shortly after that, I want to say I end up having my second daughter in January. And then I got pregnant right after that. I don't know what was wrong with me. But when I tell you, I I was pregnant, I had her in January the 9th, Valentine's, around that time I was pregnant again with our third child. And it's funny because I had been messing with people that was having kids back to back, and I was just like, dang, yeah. I mean, and here I go with 2 kids in the same freaking year. Like, never do that, people. Never. Hard, because especially when you're dealing with someone that really doesn't want you and really doesn't love you, like, you need to be. Like, the only, I would do so much, so many things different besides my children if I could. Like, if I knew, of course, if I knew what I know now, life would be a lot different, would have turned out different. But I didn't. I had to go through it all. I had to endure and experience it all to be here today. And it's hard. It's sad. And for a long time, I felt like it was so unfair. And I had my questions for God. Like, what did I do? Like, what in the world did I do as a kid, as a girl, as a teenager that was so bad that I had to suffer so? I had to go through all this trauma before the age of 21. Before the age of 21. So by the age of 21, I had two children on my third. So before I turned 22, I had three children. Okay, two girls and a boy. And again, things was okay. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't okay. But life, having my children, I think, brought my, started bringing my family back into my life. My family. Where my mom, me and her started trying again. Going, I would go because I learned how to drive. So now I can go around people without him. And so my life, I did start building my relationships back with my family, but it still wasn't all the way there. And then, we ended up actually getting married. We ended up getting married. Today, wow, would have been 2003. We would have been married 23 years if we were still married today. Wow. 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 Yeah. October the 11th, 2023, 2003, 2002, 2002, excuse me. We got married. October 11, 2002. We got married. And it didn't make a difference at all. And yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Hey girl. Um, but we ended up married, and I was trying to have my family. And I did. I went into it with the mindset. I always had the mindset. And like I said, growing up with what I grew up with, my mindset was messed up. And now that looking back on it, it was stupid to think like that to me now. But my thought process was, I don't want to have a lot of baby daddies. I only want to have one baby daddy. And if he ain't nothing, then they all gonna have an ain't nothing daddy. That was my mindset at that time. And now looking back, it wasn't a good mindset to have. But I did. And all my children, well, I have four now, but the first three was his. And after that, um, he started back wanting to fight, and he wasn't healthy enough. Like, he wasn't healthy enough, and he still wanted to fight. And all I had to do is really wrestle with him, and it would make him so winded till he just, go somewhere and go to sleep. But this one particular time, we got into it, and he did what he normally do. When I'm trying to leave, he took my daughters, took both of my girls, but he wouldn't take my son. I don't know. I'm still lost on that. But he would never take my son. He would take the girls, and I think he took the girls. Now, okay. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think he was taking my girls because he knew that would infuriate me, and that would keep me more than my. I guess he felt like more than my son, but he could have took him, and I still would have felt the same exact way, right? And so, um, but I went on and left this one particular night. He had took my girls, and I was just like, I gotta go. And me and my son went to my cousin's house, and we over there, and we just chilling, and and I'm just trying to decompress and not worry so hard about my girls. And I wanted them. But I knew if I called the police, they wasn't gonna do nothing. So I was just like, okay, things just need to calm down, y'all. When I tell y'all, a few hours later, after being at my cousin's house, I get a call that they had to rush this joker to the hospital. I was like, what happened? Oh, he passed out. What? Told y'all. Every time I tried to leave, after he got sick that first time, whenever I tried to leave, he would get sick, hospital sick. And I was just like, oh my God. But in my brain, I'm like, okay, I can go get my girls. And but then I ended up at the hospital because at this point he's my husband, and he didn't want nobody else there. And looking back, it was a lot of crazy. I was real freaking naive, gullible. Oh my God. My head was really in the clouds, honestly. But I got my children, and then I end up letting my mama get them so that I can be there for him. And then we found out that he was going to have surgery again. And that's where I would leave. Stop it. We'll pick it back up next Saturday. Like I said, the journey is long and tedious, but it is my journey. It's my story. And I'm just praying and hoping that someone can see themselves out of a situation listening to my story. This ain't for no one to feel sorry, sad, bad, mad, none of those things. This is my healing. This is me healing. As you can see, I can laugh a little bit. I can smile even because I'm healing. And In order for me to heal properly, I got to tell the naked truth. And this is my truth. And so until next Saturday, um, we'll pick back up and finish talking about the story. But I love you all. Thank you all for chiming in. I hope you shared. I hope you share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, questions if you have any. But remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Yes, life can be overwhelming and challenging at times, but how you handle it reflects you. And I'm grateful that my heart is still my heart. So thank you all again. I love you all, and I hope to see y'all here next Saturday for Central Standard Time. Bye for now.